Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources, research, articles, you name it, and boil it all down to the most important insights for you.
Yep, distilled knowledge.
And today, we're really plunging headfirst into something many people think they get, but, well, they might be dangerously wrong. We're talking about hypnosis. There's this common idea, right, that you can't be hypnotized to do anything against your morals, against your will.
Right, the old safeguard idea.
Exactly. Well, get ready, because the cases we're diving into today, they pretty much shatter that assumption.
They really do. Our main source here is Carla Emery's book, Secret Don't Tell, the encyclopedia of hypnotism. It's incredibly detailed.
And we're zeroing in on part 1, specifically the case histories of criminal hypnosis. These aren't theories, they're documented real-world examples.
Chilling examples.
Our mission really is to pull out the key lessons from these accounts of hypnotic abuse, to show you how mind control has been used, sometimes with just, devastating results.
And look, for you listening, understanding these stories, even the shocking ones, it's not just about the drama. It's genuinely a tool for self-knowledge, for protection.
Right. Replacing the myths with actual facts.
Exactly. By seeing the mechanics of how this influence worked in these real cases, the goal is to make you feel less vulnerable to manipulation yourself. Knowledge really is a shield here.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Let's unpack that core myth straight away. Conventional wisdom says you can't be forced under hypnosis to do something, morally wrong or against your will.
Yeah, that's what most people believe.
But Emery's book, through these really well-documented cases, just hammers home that this assumption is false, and dangerously so.
It's dangerous because it kind of lowers our guard, doesn't it? If you think you're immune, you're not looking out for it.
Makes sense.
And what's really critical to grasp, which the book emphasizes, is that once someone's hypnotized, getting them back into that state gets easier every single time.
Oh, interesting. Like building a pathway. Sort of, yeah. And unethical hypnosis, this isn't just some stage trick on bad. It can literally destroy lives, ruin identities.
Wow.
The book talks about this evolution, too, how unethical hypnotists maybe started as like low-class predators centuries ago, but have shifted over time towards becoming, and this is a quote, anonymous secret agency hirelings. These could be highly educated people, doctors, PhDs, seeking absolute control and absolute secrecy, either for themselves or, whoever's paying the bills.
That's a chilling progression. And it sets the stage for the cases we're about to discuss. These aren't just vague stories. Emery stresses they are clear-cut, well-studied, detailed cases of hypnotic abuse, deceitful, amnesic, damaging.
Deeply damaging.
Let's start with one from the 19th century in Europe, Zebediah. What's wild here is the social dynamic itself was apparently quite shocking back then.
Absolutely. So Zebediah is described as a gentleman, right? Upper class, presumably.
Yeah. And the person who hypnotized and exploited him, Adam, described as a common man. Now, the European elite at the time, they'd been fascinated by hypnosis for ages, but they just couldn't believe that some low-class guy like Adam could control a higher-class victim like Zebediah so easily. It flew in the face of their assumptions.
So how did Adam do it? What was his method?
It was pretty methodical, actually. He started with successful sleep inductions, got Zebediah used to that. Then he planted a post-hypnotic suggestion.
Which is like a delayed command.
Exactly. An instruction given during the trance, but meant to be carried out after waking up. The suggestion was basically, next time the clock strikes the hour, you'll wake up, remember nothing about this trance, and it'll feel like time just jumped forward several hours.
So Zebediah essentially became an unwitting puppet. Just completely unaware.
Precisely. He became an unknowing hypnotic subject. The book calls him a trained somnambulist conditioned to drop into this deep, sleep-like state almost on command.
A somnambulist?
Yeah.
Like sleepwalking.
Sort of, but crucially, it was an amnesic trance. He wouldn't remember anything that happened while hypnotized. Wouldn't even remember falling asleep or the missing time. Total blank.
And Adam used this. How?
Criminally. He tried to frame Zebediah for burglary and also for an old insurance swindle, apparently involving setting fire to a house.
Wow. And Zebediah had no clue he was being set up. How did the truth even come out?
Not at first. He was completely unaware of these, self-incriminating suggestions planted in his subconscious. When the police came, he genuinely thought they had the wrong guy, that the real thief would be caught.
So he was arrested?
Yes. And it was only when a jail guard passed on some info, apparently from Adam himself, who was trying to shift blame, that Zebediah finally realized what must have happened.
From jail.
From jail. He begged for a proper investigation. Luckily, his new lawyer took him seriously, got a court ruling to separate him and Adam and have them both put under mental observation.
And this case became known.
Yeah, it gained historical weight. Dr. Kroner told another psychiatrist, Dr. Ludwig Mayer, who had already uncovered a similar case about Zebediah. Mayer documented it in his own book in 1937.
Yeah.
So it became this really solid, early example of hypnotic abuse, proving you could be made to do things unknowingly.
Okay, next case. Mrs. E. This one sounds intense. Not just the crime attempted, but her mind fighting back.
It's fascinating, yeah. The hypnotist here was named Bergen. He had an accomplice, Alfred, and they tried to get Mrs. E to murder her husband.
Murder?
How? First with poisonous mushrooms, then with some kind of white powder. Really dramatic, chilling stuff.
But you said her mind resisted, even under hypnosis.
That's the incredible part. It shows this sort of deep-seated defense mechanism. Despite the commands, her unconscious seemed to sabotage the attempts, like she accidentally spilled most of the white powder that was meant for her husband's coffee.
Accidentally, right.
Exactly. And later, she was given a post-hypnotic suggestion to commit suicide. But instead of following through, she ended up striking up a conversation with an elderly lady on a train. And that conversation apparently comforted her, drove the suicidal thoughts away.
So her subconscious found an escape route, even with amnesia for the actual commands.
It seems so. A powerful illustration of how the mind might resist something truly against its core programming, even under that kind of influence.
Did she remember anything that could help catch Bergen?
Well, she had total amnesia for anything Bergen-related, the commands, the events. But she did remember the trigger, the induction cue.
What was it?
Bergen putting his hand on her forehead. She remembered that made her feel dizzy, and then nothing. An amnesic abyss, as the book puts it.
And that little detail was enough.
It was crucial, because Dr. Mayer, the same psychiatrist from the Zebediah connection, used that exact cue, Bergen's hand-on-forehead method, to re-hypnotize Mrs. E.
Okay, and what did he find?
He uncovered another layer, an even sneakier cue word Bergen had implanted, likebino.
Likebino? What did that do?
It was a failsafe for Bergen. He'd programmed her so that if she ever started revealing anything in court that could hurt him, that word, likebino, would just pop into her head. And then she'd feel sick, nauseous, and be unable to say anything against him. In fact, she'd only be able to speak in his favor.
That's incredibly manipulative. So what happened at the trial?
It was a 3-week trial. Bergen was eventually sentenced, though mainly for larceny and practicing medicine without a license, not the attempted murder via hypnosis directly, which was harder to prove legally then. They went to great lengths to protect Mrs. E's identity. But the case really highlights the complexity, the layers of hypnotic programming, and also that flicker of internal resistance.
Okay, now this next one. Palais. The book apparently suggests, this is where it gets really interesting, a prisoner and a guru named Nielsen.
Yeah, this one shows a different kind of insidious approach. Nielsen targeted Palais in prison. He started subtly assessing Palai's suggestibility with something seemingly harmless, a hand-locking exercise.
Just testing the waters.
Exactly. Then he introduced yoga, presented it all as just an amusing game, building trust, conditioning Palais gradually.
Very patient.
Very. And then Nielsen designated X, who he told Palais was his guardian spirit, basically God as the induction cue.
X was the trigger.
X was the trigger for a deep amnesic trance. Palais would have, again, complete amnesia for all his time spent in X-related trance. And crucially, X would deliver orders, but through Nielsen.
So Nielsen was speaking as X or relaying messages?
Relaying messages, supposedly. But it meant Nielsen had total control, and Palais had no conscious memory of receiving these orders or being manipulated.
And the results were pretty dramatic.
Oh, yeah. Palais escaped from Horson's prison, on command from X via Nielsen, just walked out as ordered.
He got caught again.
He did. Served extra time. But even after Nielsen got out of prison, the control continued. Nielsen would send letters ending with, "Greetings from X."
Why are you using the trigger? The control was that strong.
Unbelievably strong. Nielsen controlled details of Palai's personal life. At one point, he even ordered Palais to force his own fiancée to have sex with Nielsen himself.
That's horrifying, an incredible level of psychological domination.
It is. And this case gives us a chilling look at programming resistance itself. Nielsen planned a bank robbery for Palais to carry out.
Another crime.
Yes. And on the way to the bank, Palais passed the Church of Jesus, and he started feeling really bad, terribly set, thinking, something's wrong here. His conscience kicking in.
Okay, so maybe the programming wasn't absolute.
Here's the twist. Nielsen had anticipated that kind of resistance. He had programmed Pally to interpret those feelings, that moral unease, as just his body resisting X's orders.
Wow, so his own conscience was turned against him, used as proof he should obey.
Exactly. His internal alarm bells were hijacked to reinforce the command. It's deeply disturbing. Later, a psychiatrist, Dr. Ryder, tried to demonstrate this level of obedience in court.
Did Pally ever break free?
Eventually, yes. The book mentions a loss of hypnocontrol later on. But the aftermath was devastating for Pally's severe emotional distress, a total loss of faith while he was back in prison. It shows the immense psychological toll when this kind of deep manipulation finally fractures.
Okay, let's shift gears now. Fast forward. A more modern case, and this one involves alleged government connections. Lieutenant Candy Jones.
Right, this brings us into the Cold War era, post-WWII. Candy Jones was a well-known USO performer. She had a brief encounter during the war with General Donovan, who headed the OSS, the precursor to the CIA.
Okay, a wartime connection.
Years later, she's recruited by a Dr. Berger, who also went by the name Jensen. He's described in Emery's research as a, quote, pioneer and leading authority in the field of medical hypnosis.
That's legitimate.
But also, chillingly, described as kind of messiah within CIA mind control programs. This takes things into a very different domain.
State-sponsored. What were they trying to do?
According to the book, based on her account and later documents, the research line was incredibly specific and disturbing. They aimed to create an artificially split personality.
Split personality? How?
They apparently used an imaginary childhood playmate Candy had mentioned, named Arlene. The method involved narco-hypnosis, using drugs to help induce trance.
Drugs plus hypnosis.
Yes, plus intense hypnotic training and then just insistent, repeated suggestions for Arlene to come out, pushing this alternate persona forward.
And it worked.
It seems it did, to a terrifying extent. The book details torture experiments conducted on her, apparently in Taiwan in 1966, during which the Arlene personality would invariably become hysterical. This wasn't just about getting someone to obey orders. It was about fracturing their very identity.
What was this like for Candy herself? The effects must have been
Disorienting. Terrifying. There were periods where she'd just disappear for a week. Her staff would be frantic. She later recounted enduring torture, feeling the pain normally like a person who isn't hypnotized, yet somehow managing to endure it without breaking like a hypnotized person. A really bizarre, awful combination.
And her husband, John DeBell.
He struggled immensely. He blamed the CIA, blamed Dr. Jensen for creating Arlene. He was terrified of what Arlene might do, public embarrassment for Candy, even self-harm. It paints a truly disturbing picture of the potential for state-level mind control.
How did this story even come out? Was it just her word?
Initially, she told her husband, and he helped her piece things together. Then, an author named Donald Bain wrote about it in a 1976 book. But what gives it significant weight is that later, documents released under the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA requests.
Ah, government documents.
Exactly. They corroborated key aspects of her account, validating the existence and the methods of these kinds of government mind control experiments. It wasn't just fiction.
So it connects to a bigger, perhaps hidden history.
It really seems to. Emery connects it to this long, often secret history of mind control technologies over the past 250 years. And she includes a stark warning he apparently received from someone who'd been subjected to military brainwashing. If they knew what you're trying to do by writing this book, they wouldn't hesitate to kill you.
That is heavy. Truly staggering implications.
Absolutely.
Okay, so stepping back and looking at all these cases, Zebediah, Mrs. E, Powley, Candy Jones, what's the big takeaway? It clearly demolishes that comforting myth we started with.
Completely dismantles it. You can be made to act against your will, against your morals, under certain hypnotic conditions. These cases show how.
So what are the key principles we've seen?
Well, first, the incredible power of post-hypnotic cues. Commands planted during trance acted on later, with the person having no conscious idea why.
Right. Zebediah and the crimes.
Then there's the danger of repeated inductions, how each trance makes the next one easier, leading to deeper, more chronic control, like with Adam and Zebediah or Nielsen and Pally.
And Mrs. E's case showed
that fascinating inherent resistance, the mind's deeper defense against truly abhorrent commands, like murder or suicide. Finding those accidental ways out.
But then Pally's case showed the flip side.
Yeah, the really unsettling ability to program that resistance, to twist the subject's own conscience, their feelings of wrongness, into a signal that they must comply, hijacking their moral compass.
And Candy Jones.
That takes it to another level. The state-sponsored ambition to literally create split personalities. Using drugs, intense hypnosis, torture, all now backed up by documents. It shows the terrifying potential when these techniques are weaponized at that scale.
The impact on the victims is just profound. From being forced into crime to having your personality fragmented.
Devastating, life-altering, chronic mental and emotional damage.
Which brings us back to the purpose of Emery's book, Secret, Don't Tell. She says it's to replace ignorance with knowledge. And by understanding these mechanisms, these real-world examples of how hypnotic influence works, the idea is that your own unconscious mind gets armed.
Right. It's defended with accurate information, not left vulnerable by comfortable myths. Knowing this stuff genuinely makes you less susceptible.
It's like building immunity through information.
Exactly. It's your powerful first line of defense against influences you might not even see coming.
So given everything we've just unpacked, these startling ways individuals can be deeply influenced, sometimes totally against their conscious awareness, using these specific techniques, the real deep dive kind of starts now for you listening.
Yeah, the question becomes personal.
How does knowing this change how you look at things? Information you receive, media you consume, even maybe charismatic people you encounter. Are you thinking critically about potential hidden suggestions?
Whether it's advertising or social media feeds or political rhetoric, these tools of influence in various forms, they're out there.
Understanding the extreme end, like in these criminal hypnosis cases, maybe helps us build a better filter, a sharper awareness for the everyday spectrum of influence. How can you cultivate that critical awareness to protect your own mental landscape?
That's the challenge and the power this knowledge gives you. Knowing how manipulation works is truly your greatest defense.